Hi, this is Yami no Senshi,
And this is Phoenix.
and welcome back to Bowser's Big Adventure, featuring 2 intestinal parasites.
And tasty drumsticks.
Today we'll be exploring what, up until a week ago, I thought was called Plank Beach, but is actually Black Beach.
Yep.
Apparently the tooth-based enemies and giant, plaque-ridden tooth structures were not enough of a hint for me.
No. There's planks too, maybe.
There's a single raft.
Constructed of multiple planks. Well, logs. Same thing.
But, again, Bowser has one tool to solve all of his problems, and that's punching. If we kept going around, it just loops until you figure that little bit out.
At least Bowser's smart enough to, think of punching the opposite wall.
And here's our first enemy, a tooth-based pokey called a Toothy. A handful of attacks. First one is they wiggle their eyes, and when they're done, you've got a second to react to punch them into little tiny pieces.
And they just sit there.
No matter how hard you hit them when they're in a full stack, it doesn't hurt them. It just knocks them down.
I like how he spat out a little Dr. Mario virus at you.
Yep. Has a tiny little spear. Otherwise, they can spend their turn on the ground getting back up.
And then you punch them again.
Yep.
Get them stuck in a loop of eternal punches.
They have a tendency, once they're the last thing left, to not do that.
That would get really annoying.
Yep.
Oh, Frenchie.
Yep. Our first new and unique character. A French block person.
Sure.
Bowser clearly does not speak French.
And this guy clearly does not know who Bowser is. Generally don't want to flag him down when you see him walking by.
It's like, hey, enemy of the Mushroom Kingdom, give me a hand.
Well, he's clearly from the Block Kingdom.
Later on, we'll find I don't even want to call it a race, just an entire subset of block species.
Yeah.
Well, since appealing to his better nature didn't work, we're just going to bribe Bowser.
Which probably will work.
It works wonderfully. After dropping Mario's name, that is the second best way to get him to do something.
Do them both at once. Oh boy. Bowser is still not certain.
Oddly enough, he appeals to greed, which doesn't really seem to be Bowser's thing very often.
Nah, sometimes. Usually he's power, more so.
Yeah.
Wario's the greedy one.
Why?
How did he get out there in the first place?
All the wood in the water is a bridge.
So, oh, and it fell, okay. Wait, so it was okay. Did he make it? Or was it just there?
I have no idea.
What is that island even for?
I don't know. It doesn't serve any purpose.
There's nothing on it.
Maybe that's where he harvests all those blocks. Maybe they're organic. Though in the first Mario and Luigi, they are made in a university lab.
Time to screw with Bowser's insides again.
Yep. This is actually how working out works. Try and lift weights, there's tiny little men inside your arms.
Hitting cannons with hammers.
This is the first of many, many games we will use to beef Bowser up from the inside.
He's really struggling up there.
He is. I don't think I need to explain the mechanics here, it's pretty simple.
Smack it when it's the right color.
Everything in the game is color-coded.
Oh, they're stimulating Bowser's body now.
Let's not go there.
Yup. He pulled him so strong he turned the world upside down.
When you're got little balls of light hitting your muscles, no end to what you can do. But now we get this thing.
Which is really cool.
It is so awesome and is one of the things that really sets this game apart. But we got a new thing, and you know what that means.
Tutorials!
More tutorials. I swear we get into actual solid lengths of gameplay soon. Not this episode.
Gotta get the fire breath first. Flips his head upside down.
And now he's angry.
It really just looks like he has a big V pasted on his forehead.
You can make anything with eyes look angry by doing that.
Incroyable!
But we can use this to, obviously, suck in enemies in Bowser battles. Which will occasionally deposit them inside Bowser, where you then get to fight with Mario and Luigi.
Which can sometimes actually be really hard later on.
Thankfully, Mr. Frenchy Block will not be mentioning the people inside Bowser to him.
Seems like something you'd probably want to point out.
It's like, hey, you got some plumbers in your plumbing.
Just living there.
Just hanging out. Oddly enough, after that, we still have to beat the crap out of him. And vacuuming him up will not help at all. He just falls inside Bowser and climbs back up again.
Yeah, because he's not really a bad guy, and Mario and Luigi don't want to beat him up.
That's kind of interesting. In the tutorial fight for the vacuum block, you can't use the vacuum block to win.
He just teaches you how to use it.
Yep.
I guess this part is really more of a tutorial for the retry clock.
Yeah.
So, if you're not good enough to beat him, it'll use the retry.
It's really hard to lose against him, you'll see why.
Mega Mushroom!
This doesn't do any damage either.
Does it actually give you coins?
I'm not certain, but I think so.
Oh no.
Anytime something launches off the top of the screen, you can generally assume it ends up in the top screen. I don't bother showing it, unless it's actually interesting to look at.
Yep.
Also, fights in this game take place in the Battle Zone, which is a really, really tiny, either spherical or toroidal area, judging by how things can go off the right side of the screen and end up on the left.
It's just a little tiny separate Mario planet. Mario Galaxy planet.
Yes. He has one more attack where it's not really an attack. He hits the block and a coin comes out and he looks sad. He didn't do it this time.
And now everybody gets XP.
Yep. If they were participating in the fight, they get more experience. I suck at the roulette game.
Everybody sucks at the roulette game.
I played too much Dream Team before this, where it's actually a repeating pattern. And this one, it's random.
You just gotta be quick. Superhumanly quick.
A little bit.
Mr. Turtlebits. I don't... Why? Why bits? I get the turtle part.
I don't know, I just imagine him going, oh ho ho, before everything he says anyway.
Yes. Oh, you missed the punch.
I did that on purpose, so you can see what you can do with the vacuum in regular battles. You can steal candy from obese Goombas.
And get buffs. I think the candy gave you the heal, and then the pieces of the other dude gave you the defense up.
Right. And if you suck in multiple toothies, you get multiple defense ups.
That was a good roulette spin.
Yeah, don't worry, I pay for it later. Not much left to do other than explore the beach some more.
And give Bowser diabetes.
Yes, he eats a lot of candy before we're done here.
I'm surprised that it's shells and starfish on the ground and not other tooth-related things. Toothbrush. Discarded toothbrushes, which is why there's so much plaque.
A little thing of floss that no one ever used.
So if you don't punch that virus, it goes back into the head.
Yep. Really not necessary using the vacuum once I get the first strike, but so much fun.
If you need the heal.
I need to make Goombas cry and run away.
You get to take candy from them. It's like taking candy from a baby.
If the baby was an obese Bowser minion. Also, why is Bowser beating up his own minions?
They're too fat.
No.
It's punishment. He's gotta keep them in shape, otherwise they'll never beat Mario.
They were kicked out of the Koopa Troop for failing the physical examination.
Yup.
So remember what I said about a minute ago about paying for that roulette?
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotta go for some speed.
It's not much point in giving him speed because it's just so low that you can't come back from it.
Yeah. It's also not too crucial in these. All it really does is let you go first. I don't think enemies can get multiple turns in a row.
No, you always take turns.
That's terrible in games where they actually, if they double your speed, can go twice. That gets rough.
I know in at least the first Mario and Luigi game, enemies later on, mostly bosses, could get multiple turns. Pretty sure they could do it in Partners in Time as well, because I remember that game being balls hard at the end.
I just remember in Mario RPG when I gave Gino as many speed boosting things as I could, including the super jacket that you get for doing the 100 jumps. Fought the optional boss, and Gino got a turn in before his speech.
And then you used the glitch to kill him in one shot, right?
No, you can't kill him in one shot. Bosses are generally immune to it. With the exception of Exor, the Swordhead.
Speaking of bosses...
It's a robot.
It's a statue reanimated by Fuffle power. Now, I really think he could have just done so much better if he went into business with a line of falafel stands.
This is one of those parts where you can just kind of leave the text hanging there and the robot will just sit there flailing forever.
Yep. Like little chompy Joker's teeth from the Arkham games.
Yeah.
When I watch these after doing all my editing, I do it at 2x speed. Bowser sounds great at 2x speed.
Oh man, I bet.
I'll just let you use your imagination for that one. So this is our first proper boss. The boss itself is the blooper on top of the statue. If you try and punch the statue, it does nothing. So, you gotta eat it.
This is where we really get to see the vacuum in action.
Yeah, this is probably the first interesting fight of the game.
Get to suck them up, use a few special moves with the bros.
You know, that's the secret to winning this game. Special moves on the bosses.
Keep kicking those shells.
Yep.
Blooper looks kinda angry.
He gets very upset.
I like how you got a crit in there and it didn't do any additional damage.
Nope. But enemies inside Bowser are not adverse to taking a couple cheap shots.
I did actually completely forget about that.
Also, I am bad at hammer counters.
They can get pretty rough.
But after some abuse in there, you get some more free shots up top. You do have a decent window you can hold your hammer up in, but it does not last forever.
It's mostly hard because if you just quickly tap the button, I don't think you get a swing off.
No, you have to hold it for about a second or two.
Yeah, so you can't just wait for it to come and then react immediately. You have to prepare it in advance. So sometimes it gets a little tricky that way. If it's like a particularly quick attack.
Got that one. You have to hold it long enough for them to actually ready the hammer.
I like the little dances they do when it's their turn and you're scrolling through the attack options.
I love all the little dances, like the level up dances.
Yup.
When you're picking your stat.
This gotta hurt.
Yeah. Like having an ulcer that fights back.
You'd think some of the stuff that they're doing in this battle inside him would just hurt him anyway.
I mean, yeah, what part of him are they standing in?
I don't even know. Whatever part they're standing in must also be spherical, because I think that same thing can happen with their fights.
Maybe?
Where it can go off the screen and come back on the other side. I'm positive there's a couple enemies that you fight down there that do it.
I don't know, maybe they're fighting on the side of his lungs or something?
Yes.
Well, we are just about done here. If you don't fuck up as much as I did, you can actually finish this in 2 rotations.
Just a few more shells to the face.
And I was like 1 for 3 on counters.
And the robot just mysteriously explodes.
Yep. You got a boatload of experience.
Bowser gets a lot more experience than the bros.
It is his boss battle. The bros get their own later on.
That's true. And when you're playing as them, only they fight and Bowser doesn't get to do anything.
Right. There might be some regular enemies later on that you can suck up and have the bros fight, but they're few and far between if there are any.
Yeah, and I think those are the ones that I remember being fairly challenging when you do that. Because they're sort of scaled to Bowser stats.
Because he has to fight on his own, Bowser is obviously very beefy.
And just because he's Bowser.
So beefy, I'm wondering how Mario actually beat him in the beginning.
Well, he's just gonna drink his fill.
Join us next time when we attempt to get Bowser to die of water poisoning.
Sounds like fun.
It is. Bye!